What is going on YouTube? Just helping you out here. And in this video, I'm going to be building the mission models contained in Bag 10 for the FLL SUPERPOWERED 2022-2023 game. Contained in this bag is the power plant, and in order to successfully build it, you are going to need these two bags labeled number 10, as well as these two unlabeled bags and a large black frame. Alright, let's get into the build, and I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so first up, you're going to be needing 8 of those black pins and a black plate. Now, one thing that I would like to point out about these plates is that they do have a top and a bottom. This right here is the top. It's mostly flat, but if you flip it over, you see we have this hole right here, and that's how you know it's the bottom. And so what you want to do is you want to have the bottom face up, and you want to insert the black pins into the following holes. So we'll start here. You want 1 in each end hole. And you want to do that on both sides. And then you want to put the rest of them into these 4 corner holes. Now you'll be needing 2 size 11 orange beams. You know they're size 11 because they have 11 holes. And what you want to do with those is you want to center them onto these 2 pins and these 2 pins. And if you did that correctly, you should have an open hole at each of the 4 corners. Now you'll be needing 2 of these H's, and you are going to insert those into this hole and this hole on both sides. Now you'll be needing 2 size 5 black beams, and you are going to insert one onto these 2 pins and the other onto these 2 pins. Now you'll be needing 4 of those black pieces that have a pin and an axle hole on top, 2 size 5 black beams, and 4 of those size 12 black axles. You know the axle is size 12 because if you hold a beam up to it, it spans 12 holes, making it a size 12 axle. And what you want to do is insert the pin part of these black pieces into the 2 end holes all the way through. And then you are going to take 2 of those axles and insert them into the axle holes. And you need to make 2 of these. And now you should have 2 identical pieces. And now what you want to do is insert the 2 pins into these 2 holes. And you want to do that on both sides. Now you'll be needing this large black frame, and you want to insert this hole and this hole on the short edge of this large black frame onto these 2 pins. Now you'll be needing 5 black pins and an orange plate. And now this time you want the top of the plate facing up, and you are going to insert a black pin into this end hole here. And then you are going to insert the remaining black pins into each of these 4 corner holes. Now you'll be needing 2 size 11 orange beams, and you are going to center one onto these 2 pins and these 2 pins. And now what you want to do is you want to insert this pin right here from behind into the 4th hole right here. Now you'll be needing 5 black pins and an orange plate. Again, you want the top face of this orange plate pointed up, and this time you're going to insert a black pin into this right end hole. And then you're going to insert the rest of those black pins into the 4 corner holes. Now you'll be needing 2 size 11 orange beams, and you are going to center those onto these 2 pins and these 2 pins. And now this time you're going to insert this black pin into the 4th hole from the bottom on this side. Now you'll be needing 4 of those size 6 thin black beams, 2 of those long blue pins, 2 black pins, and 2 of those black pieces that have a beam hole. And the first thing you're going to do is stack 2 of those black beams, and you're going to insert a black pin all the way through this end hole here. And then you're going to take the short side of the blue pin and insert it in the other end hole. And finally, you're going to take the black piece with the beam hole and put it all the way down on this pin. So you should have a piece that looks like this, and you need to make 2 of those. So you should have 2 identical pieces. And what you're going to do is you're going to insert the black pin into this corner hole here and the blue pin into the second hole here. And you need to do that on both sides. Now you'll be needing 4 black pins, 2 gray pins, 2 black pins with the ball at the end, and 2 black T's. And now what you want to do is insert the 2 black pins from behind into this hole and this hole. And then you want to take the gray pin and insert it in this hole right here. And then finally, the black pin with the ball at the end will go into this hole. So your piece should look like this, and you need to make 2 of these. So you should have 2 identical pieces. And what you want to do is insert the 2 black pins into the 3rd and 4th hole from the top. And when you do that, you just want to make sure that this part of the T is facing that way. And same thing on the other side. Now you'll be needing 2 black pins, 2 long blue pins, and a size 5 black beam. And what you want to do is you want to take those black pins and insert them into the second hole from either end. And then you're going to take the long side of these blue pins and insert them all the way through the 2 end holes. And now you're going to insert these 2 blue pins into this hole and this hole. Now you'll be needing a blue piece that's part pin and part axle, a gray piece with an axle hole on each side, one of those thin black pieces with 2 axle holes and a beam hole, and a size 12 black axle. And what you want to do first is insert the axle part of this blue piece into one end of this gray piece. And then you're going to take the black axle and insert that into the other end. And then finally, you're going to insert this axle hole here onto the axle. Now you'll be needing a blue piece that's part pin and part axle, a gray piece with an axle hole on each end, and a size 12 black axle. And you are again going to insert the axle part of this blue piece into this end of the gray piece, and then you're going to insert the black axle in the other end. And now you're going to go ahead and insert this black axle into this axle hole and slide it all the way down. Now we're going to flip this piece around. And these two blue pins are going to go in the two middle holes of these two black beams. Now you'll be needing this medium-sized black frame, and you are going to insert this hole and this hole onto these two black pins. Now you'll be needing two black pins and two long blue pins. And you are first going to insert the long side of these blue pins into these two corner holes, all the way through. And then you're going to insert the black pins in the two holes below the blue pins. Now you'll be needing these two black L's, and now you're going to insert this L onto these two pins right here, such that the blue pin goes into this second hole right here. And you want to make sure that this piece of the L is pointed to the right, and then you're going to do the same thing on the other side, except on that one you want this part of the L pointed to the left. Now you can go ahead and set this piece off to the side. Now you'll be needing 3 long blue pins and a size 7 light gray beam. And you're going to insert the short side of those blue pins into the following holes. The first one is going to be in this end hole. And then you want to go to the other side and put one in the second hole from the end. And then one to the right of that. Now you'll be needing a size 7 light gray beam and one of those light gray pieces with a beam hole and axle hole. And you are first going to insert the size 7 beam onto these two pins, making sure the end hole goes on this one. And then you are going to take the beam hole of this piece and insert it onto this pin here. Now you'll be needing a size 7 light gray beam, and you are going to insert it onto these 3 pins, making sure the end hole goes onto this one. Now you'll be needing a size 5 gray axle, one of those gray pieces that has an axle hole and beam hole, and a black pin. And you are first going to take the black pin and insert it into this hole right here. And then you're going to take the gray axle and insert it into this hole here. And now you're going to insert this axle through this end hole right here. Just make sure that when you do that, this black pin is pointed that way. Now you'll be needing a black pin and a gray piece with a beam hole and axle hole. And you are first going to insert the gray piece onto this gray axle. And then you're going to insert the black pin into this hole here. So if you did that correctly, these two black pins should both be pointing that way. Now you'll be needing a size 7 red beam, and you are going to insert that onto these two pins. Now you'll be needing 2 long blue pins and 2 size 7 red beams. And you are going to take the long side of the blue pins and insert them all the way through the second hole from the end on one of these beams. And then you're going to take the other red beam and put it onto these two pins. And now you're going to insert those two blue pins into this hole and this hole. Now you'll be needing two of those gray pieces with a beam hole and axle hole, two gray pins, and two blue pieces that are part pin and part axle. And what you're going to do is insert the axle part of this blue piece into this axle hole here. And then you're going to take the gray pin and insert it into this hole here. And you need to make two of these. So you should have two identical pieces. And now you're going to insert the gray pin into this hole right here on both sides. Now you can go ahead and pick up this piece I told you to set aside earlier. And you are going to insert the two blue pins into this hole and this hole. And if you did that correctly, this beam should sit right between these two axles. And now you can set this piece off to the side again. Now you'll be needing two black pins and a size 13 green beam. And what you want to do is you want to insert those on either side of the center hole. Now you'll be needing one of these black plates, and you want to insert these two holes onto these two pins. Now you'll be needing 4 black pins, and you are going to insert 2 of them into these 2 holes. And then the other 2 will go into this hole and this hole. Now you'll be needing 4 of those blue pieces that are part pin and part axle, and 2 of those black pieces with an axle hole in each end. And what you want to do is you want to insert the axle part of these blue pieces in each end of the black pieces. And you need to make 2 of those. So you should have 2 identical pieces. And you are going to insert these blue pins into each end hole. Now you'll be needing one of those black pins with the ball at the end and a size 13 green beam. And you are first going to insert that beam across these 4 pins. And then you are going to insert the black pin with the ball into this center hole here. Now you'll be needing 2 of those black pins with the ball at the end, 4 black pins, 2 size 5 green beams, and a black plate. And the first thing you want to do is insert 2 black pins into this hole and this hole on both sides. And then you want to take the green beams and center them onto these 2 pins and these 2 pins. And then you want to take the 2 pins with the ball at the end and insert them into the center hole of the 2 green beams. And now you're going to insert these 2 holes onto these 2 pins. Now you'll be needing 2 small red axles, 1 of those black pieces with axle holes in either end, 2 L connectors, and 2 of those green L's. And what you're going to do is insert the small red axles into either end of this black piece. And then you are going to insert the red axle into the axle hole of the green L's. Just make sure that when you do that, the two L's are in the same orientation like this. And then you want to take the L connectors and insert these two pins into this hole and this hole on both sides. Just make sure that when you do this, the remaining pins of these L connectors are all facing the back. And now you're going to insert these 4 gray pins into this green beam right here. Now you can go ahead and pick up this piece I told you to set aside. And what you're going to do is you're going to slide these 2 holes onto these 2 axles. Now you'll be needing these 2 green L's, and you are going to attach one to these 3 pieces and the other to these 3 pieces. Now you'll be needing 2 black pins, 2 of those size 11 black beams that have holes in both faces, and 2 of those L connectors. And now on one of these black beams, you want to have the face with 5 holes pointed up, and you want to insert these 2 pins of an L connector into the 2 end holes, such that these 2 pins are facing this way, and then you want to take a black pin and insert it into this hole right here. And you need to make 2 of these. So you should have 2 identical pieces. And what you're going to do is insert this end hole onto this gray pin on both sides. Now you'll be needing this size 15 red beam, and you are going to insert that onto this gray pin and this gray pin. Now you'll be needing these 2 red L's, and you are going to insert these 2 holes onto these 2 pins. Just make sure the long side of the L is pointed that way, and you'll do the same thing on the other side, except this time this part of the L will be facing that way. Now you'll be needing a size 9 black beam and 2 black pins, and you are going to insert those pins into the 2 end holes. And what we are going to do is rotate this around, and you are going to insert the 2 black pins into this hole and this hole. And if we rotate this around again, this is now your completed power plant, and it should look just like this. Now, just before we finish up this video, there is one thing that I would like to point out. If we take a look at the smaller bag labeled number 10, you'll see we have a few extra pieces. We have one of those black pieces with a beam hole, a gray pin, and a black pin. If you have something similar, do not be worried. Typically they include extra pieces, usually the smaller ones. In case you happen to lose one, you'll have a spare, and it won't be a huge deal. Alright, so this is the completed power plant, and that is the mission model contained in bag 10. And so that's about it for this build video. Feel free to check out all our other LEGO videos in the playlist in the top left corner. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, leave a comment if you have any questions or an idea for a future video. Feel free to follow my Instagram in the description below. And lastly, please don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends about my channel so I can grow and help more of you guys out. I'm just helping you out. See you in the next video.